Washed by something not of this world. A Harvard scientist reignites debate by suggesting that an approaching interstellar object may not be a harmless comet, but an alien reconnaissance probe. Well, the mystery object is moving unusually and may hold secrets to telescope has seen before.
And it also comes from the direction of the center of the Milky Way, which is very crowded. So all of these indications imply that maybe this trajectory is extremely unusual, and could it be that it was designed? That's a possibility that we have to contemplate. If it doesn't continue along its path after October 29th, it's possible that the stock market will crash.
Now, Harvard professor Avi Loeb, who's known for his research on alien life, says the object's path appears intelligently directed, and he suggests that we should have a risk assessment scale in place.
We should assess the risk given the data that we have. It's just like the Richter scale for assessing the risk from earthquakes. 0 would be a natural object like a comet. 10 would be an object that maneuvers as if it has an engine, that is definitely technological. And then there should be some policy makers deciding how to respond to that.
Let's take you back to outer space. And you remember we talked about that little dot moving around out there that some say is a comet, but it's not just any comet. Our Brian Hackney shows us why astronomers around the world are so excited.
This is Chabot Space and Science Center, and this is space expert Gerald McKeegan.
I got interested in astronomy when I was a kid.
And as a grown-up, he's got quite the telescope. This massive, century-old Chabot refractor, which has seen planets, galaxies, and the occasional comet. You remember your first comet?
Oh gosh, in the 1990s we had Hale-Bopp and Hyakutake, but for us astronomers, there are a lot more comets out there that we can't see with our naked eye, but we can see with our telescopes.
Just 2 weeks ago, one of those telescopes in Rio Hurtado, Chile, spotted one of the most extraordinary comets ever seen, designated 3I Atlas. It's this tiny moving smudge against a forest of stars.
And it came into the solar system at amazingly high speed of 135,000 miles per hour.
Davide Farnokia is with the Jet Propulsion Lab in Pasadena.
This is really exceptional. You have to be an interstellar object to be going that fast at that distance from the sun.
But as of now, we are not absolutely sure what it is. And it looks like it follows a trajectory, which is very special. It's aligned with the plane in which the Earth is moving around the sun. That's called the ecliptic plane that all the planets are moving in relative to the sun. It's within 5 degrees of that, and the chance of that happening is only 0.2%, a small probability. And it will also arrive to the closest to the sun on October 29th, when the Earth would be on the opposite side. So we won't be able to observe it. And moreover, it passes very close to the inner planets like Jupiter, Mars, and Venus, with a very small likelihood of doing that.
That's right. 3I Atlas is only the third object ever known to have come from another solar system light years away.
We don't know exactly where it came from. The direction that it's approaching our solar system is from the constellation Sagittarius, which is in the direction of the center of our galaxy.
This particular needle was picked out of the intergalactic haystack by NASA's Atlas system, meant to detect asteroids that might hit Earth.
But as you scan the sky to find asteroids, you're going to trap or discover other things.
At the moment, the comet is inside the orbit of Jupiter, headed for a close approach of the sun in October. So, 2 questions. This is no threat to Earth.
No, absolutely not. It doesn't come anywhere close to Earth.
And as for seeing the ultra-rare comet,
You won't be able to see it with the naked eye, but it's actually pretty easy with a moderate-sized telescope.
in the meantime, scientists have just a few months to answer some big questions.
Where did it come from? What does it look like? And especially, what is its composition?
So it's a rare opportunity, and as a scientific community, we want to collect as many data as possible to characterize this object and learn as much as we can.
Now, earlier in the show, we told you a Harvard scientist believed that comet could actually be an alien spacecraft headed toward Earth due to its unusual path. But most NASA scientists say it's just a comet that poses no threat to Earth.
And it's coming from the direction of the Milky Way galaxy, the center of the Milky Way galaxy, where the sky is very crowded with stars. So that's why it took a while to notice it. And altogether, the chance of this trajectory is less than 0.2% to be aligned with the orbit of the Earth around the Sun, less than 1 part in 20,000 to arrive so close to the other planets. And one wonders, could it be a design trajectory? And I'm not saying that we know, but I'm saying that we need to collect more data to figure out the nature of this object. And if it turns out to be a comet, if it's surrounded by a beautiful cometary tail that is glowing in the sunlight as it gets closer to the sun, so be it. But from now on, the Rubin Observatory in Chile will discover a new interstellar object every few months. And my point is, we should check whether any of these objects might be technological in origin, because it's a security risk to Earth.
Right. How do you check that? So it's interesting you mentioned about the trail that might indicate it's a comet. What would be the signs that it's not a comet?
Well, so I suggest first establishing a scale of risk from interstellar objects, similar to the Richter scale for the risk from earthquakes. A 0 would mean that we identify a beautiful tail and it looks just like a regular comet. We can infer the composition of the tail. It's similar to comets. A 10 would mean that the object maneuvers in ways that cannot be explained by the force of gravity, that there must be an engine in it, or it has an unusual shape, or it has artificial lights. And there should be an organization that decides whether an incoming object could be a risk, because we talk a lot about existential risks from artificial intelligence, from climate change, from an asteroid that may impact the Earth, but we don't talk at all about the possibility of alien tech. And I think we should take it into consideration, because we sent out spacecraft that would leave the solar system.
Well, let's talk about that for a second. So it's estimated to be about 12 miles long, okay? You, and correct me if I'm wrong, you want to use NASA's Juno spacecraft to intercept the path of that.
It's a great privilege to ask questions and then answer them with evidence. And we should put all possibilities on the table, that it's a rock, a comet, or something else, until we get the evidence, the data that will tell us what it is. And we are in a new era now. There is a Rubin Observatory in Chile that has a big telescope, 8.4 meters in diameter, that will survey the southern sky every 4 nights with a 3.2 gigapixel camera, and will discover interstellar objects every few months. And my point is, we should check if all of them are natural, because, we sent spacecraft out of the solar system. Voyager 1, Voyager 2, Pioneer 10, Pioneer 11, and New Horizons are making their way out of the solar system, and they will exit from the outskirts of the Oort cloud in about 10,000 years. At that point, they will be just space trash. But other civilizations that are far more advanced than us may have sent functional devices that we may discover as coming from interstellar space. So we should assess any risks to our security. We are worried about existential threats from artificial intelligence, from global climate change, from an asteroid impact. But we don't think very often about alien tech as a threat. And I do believe that we should take it seriously now that we are identifying interstellar objects.
Now, I do think that it's so important that you mentioned that, we should put every option out there on the table, even though naturally a lot of people will be drawn to the fact that it could be an alien, because that's probably one of the most exciting and cool and unusual options for people. But I do want to ask, so since it could be aliens, right? Because that's one of the options out on the table. There will be some who wonder if the aliens could have hostile intentions, or if their intentions could just be more benign. They could be as curious about us as we are about them. What are your feelings about those?
I think that when we have a blind date from a visitor from another star, all bets are off. We shouldn't assume anything, and we should assess the risk.
This three-eye atlas is a technological artifact. It could be evidence of the dark forest hypothesis. What is that?
That's one of the solutions to Fermi's paradox, which is the question, where is everybody? And of course, it's possible that aliens are out there, but they are worried about predators and therefore they are silent, as if they are in a dark forest. And if they see a civilization like ours, a young technological civilization that gets more powerful over time, and they are listening to us, they might send a probe or a spacecraft on a reconnaissance mission or with some other goals. And we should be ready for that. We should monitor the sky and be aware of that potential possibility, and just ignoring it is not intelligent on our behalf.
Okay, my people, they giving you warnings, they letting you know what's going on. Don't be caught off guard. That's all I'm gonna tell you. Please don't be caught off guard. If you think you're the only life form on this planet, there's something wrong with you. It's the reason why so-called black people have been kept in the dark when it comes down to science, all branches of science, biology, genetics, chemistry, neurology, all of it. You know what I'm saying? And if you study science, it will resolve 100% of our problems. And we will already know that there are extraterrestrial life out there. Automatically, we will know why slavery took place. We will know why it was needed to take place in order to, for this world to which we are living in right now in this realm to be created or built, however way you want to look at it. We would know this. But this is one of the reasons why Space Force was created. This is one of the reasons why Trump moved those nuclear submarines. It's all a hoax to let you it's all a hoax to keep you distracted, to think they all fighting each other. When, to be honest with you, that war that went on between Israel and Hamas and then Iran and all these women and children and all that stuff and people are dying. That's all for the reptilians and all of them for food. That's all for food because their food source is being cut off. Just know that. Just know that their food source is being cut off and it's coming to an end. These entities that was been on this planet has to come into light. That's it. But they're going to have so many people up in fear that when they do come in, you will capitulate and conform to what they want you to do. Abundance and gratitude to you all, my people. Keep your head to the stars. This is almost over. Abundance and gratitude.